G'day guys and welcome to a special episode of Modified. This one is featuring Boomy the Troopy. The owner is Bo from Outback Cleanups, a true legend of the Australian Outback. This guy travels the Outback to far, remote places to clean up after other people's mess and things falling off people's vehicles. He basically helps assist in keeping these tracks open and also inspires a lot of people to be a better person and leaving places cleaner than what they are. Boomy the Troopy has more stories than most other vehicles in Australia. Bogging stories, travel stories, carnage stories. Stay tuned guys, you're gonna love this one. G'day Bo.
G'day Ronny, how are you,
Good to see you again, mate.
Yeah, likewise.
And nice to meet you, Kim.
Nice to meet you too, Ronny.
Thanks for having us out, mate, from Modified.
Oh, thanks for taking me to this beautiful place in South Australia.
It's not a bad one, is it? A few trees around, a bit of shade, it's nice.
We're in South Australia, guys. First time I've escaped WA for a while.
Yeah, welcome back. We can
Thank
get the
you.
masks off out here in the bush, so apparently mandatory here.
Run us through, mate.
This is Boomy the Troopy. She's a HZJ75 RV. It took me a couple of years to find the car. I wanted a HZJ75 for the reasons leaf springs, and I wanted an RV for the factory aircon, cheaper registration with the seats, that kind of thing. A couple of years to find it. We've had it 5.5 years, done a couple of 100,000 k's in it across Australia, all with the trailer on the back. Never had a spanner put to it, 480,000 k's on it. It's a good car, we love it, does the job. It's called Boomy, gearbox exploded years ago when I got it. Yeah.
Is that why you named it Boomy?
Yeah, couldn't think of a name.
There's a fair bit to talk about. A lot of DIY stuff too.
Heaps of DIY, budget DIY.
And a trailer. Let's not forget about the trailer.
We have one of our trailers here, yeah, so that's a bit exciting.
I was cooking dinner on it last night, actually. Let's get into it. This episode of Modified is sponsored by the Terrain Tamer e-store, the biggest stockist of four-wheel drive original manufactured parts. So if you're building a four-wheel drive right now, go check them out. They'll probably have what you need. Let's get back to the episode.
All right, guys, we've got a TJM Outback bar here. It's the third bar to be on the car since I got it. A few little dents and scratches. I had to winch up.
What have you done here, mate?
Well, I had to winch up through here one day because I snapped the winch cable really short, so I only had about a metre of winch to pull in. So I had to come up through here because I didn't have the excess to go around there. I literally needed an extra 100 mil of rope, and so I had to refeed it back through here because it was that extra 100 mil I had there.
No way.
Yeah, no, really a bit annoying. So that
Extension strap next time?
I had 100 metres of rope, so I was pulling out the back of the car to a tree, like a couple of 100 metres back to a snatch block, and then back to the car to use the winch to pull the car out backwards.
No way.
So yeah, no, pretty impressive.
And that's from the pressure?
That's from the pressure, yeah. It just twisted it and bent it. I snapped the rope about 8 times.
I think we've got a well-used winch here, guys.
It's a good winch. It's a Bush Ranger 10,000 pound. It's got a 12,000 pound rope on it.
Look at that rope. It's telling me a few stories.
It's been through, yeah. It's the 4th rope to be on the winch. So we just wear them out. The winch, the bull bar is kind of, you got to modify. If you have this bar and want to fit that winch, you got to modify it a fair bit, because see how like the difference there and there, the winch is off center, so it actually sits in behind this post. So it's a bit tricky to fit. But other than that, it's a great winch. Like they pull so hard. I always use a snatch block, one of the winch ring, one of the Sabre winch rings every time I do it. So I'm always doing a double line pull. The car's so heavy, and it's not locked or anything. It's open, or LSD in the back and then open, and then we've got a 2-ton rubbish trailer on. So sometimes you just can't physically get up thing with traction. So we just drag it up. Does the job. It also loads the boat too. So you notice there's marks here. So the number plate unscrews and goes off to the side. It's on a hinge here. Because the one obviously that folds up hits. And that's another benefit of the TJM bar. It's got the higher centre hoop, so it doesn't hit the roof.
Or the roof.
The roof, yeah. So the other bar came across, the other one on the market that's similar to this comes across, and it actually hits the roof when I pull it up. The reason I picked the Outback bar, I like all the brands out there. The reason I went with TJM is because the spotlights don't stick out of the bar, so if you hit something, your bar is the first thing to make contact. Where the other ones on the market, the spotlights stick in front of the bar, so if you hit something, then your spotlights cop first up. And to get a new spotlight in the bush is next to impossible. So bar work, and that runs into the TJM scrub ropes. All right, well the better side's this side. We'll go over to the left.
So you took me around the wrong way, mate.
Yeah, well, you know.
Fitness
There's Party on the left.
Morning fitness. Ah.
Yeah, so this has got the pretty ladder on it.
Yeah.
So I frothed this thing. So this is by Midcoast Fabrication. And I got this made up with a new roof rack. So we fitted the front runner rack. And obviously a Troopy's really high. So, and we always got stuff on the roof. You know, we got swags under here and all our dive gear and max tracks. And so you want to be able to access it. So I got Jace at Midcoast, he whipped this thing up. It's an absolute beast. It's all aluminium. It's just painted. I didn't powder coat it. I don't really like, all the powder coatings sort of come off everything. So painting's just so much easier to touch up.
Sure.
So I got this painted, and so far it's lasted than the other powder coating.
Grip tape.
Yeah, I just threw them on after sliding down it, I think. We were up Chewy morning, Kimberley or something like that, and went for a bit of a trip down it. And thought I'd better put some grip tape. We've got a front runner base rack. It's got the expedition rail put on. It's got a couple of extra feet on it and a few extra slats in it, just, you know, bits of wood and everything like that go in. I think you and Harry.
Slats the whole
way down it. That's so you can get up and walk around the platform loading the boat. You know, last thing I want to do is trip and fall off the roof. So I like it as a big flat platform.
Fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, but when the boat's not on, it sort of provides a bit of shade for the whole roof of the car. So that's kind of good. We've just got max tracks up there, 4 max tracks, front runner table that slides in the back. That's really good. Awning on the front, awning on the side. Can't have a 270 because of the ladder. But you know, this is good.
I mean, awning on the back, awning on the side.
Yeah. So awning here and this one on the back.
Other side?
Other side, just a shovel.
Okay.
Just a recovery shovel. It's pretty busted up. And then 4 little lights, one in each corner.
You got extra mounts on this?
Yeah, 2 extra mounts. So 1 here and 1 there. They come standard with 3. But because of the boat and the extra weight and everything like that, and because of the trails rocking around like this, I just wanted as much feet on there as possible. And it looks really nice. I think it looks great with 5 legs.
Carrying a boat, I guess you
want
a bit more.
I'd rather have too much than not enough, you know what I mean? Pretty simple. The boat comes on from the back, so I load the boat up over here, just 2 rails and then use the winch, and that sort of comes up like this with the swingaways open. I don't have slides or rails or anything like that. It just drags up on the expedition rail. They kind of spin a bit, so that gives it a little bit of, you know, helps reduces the friction a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty good.
I like the big side steps you have in these Troopers.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Yeah, they're nice and good, eh? And I've got a little rail in here too, so, you know, when you're on the beach and like wind's ripping under here, I've got one of the old awning canvases, and that just slides into this awning track and then just loops onto the spokes and the wheels. And then you just throw sand on the bottom, and then you've got a nice
That's cool.
big area of
really
the wind.
Cool.
Yeah. So there's so many old awnings, you can get, you know, everyone's throwing them out because they've all got bent poles. Yeah.
Let's look at the back.
Yep. All right, rear bar. So the full rear bar on this thing is a DIY home project. I got a bad back, so I couldn't lift the tyre up, and there's no rear bar on the market, so that drops the tyre down. So this, you just undo 2 bolts in the back and it hinges here and drops down. So, you know, for a 40 kilo tyre.
So that is designed to hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then.
So yeah, that makes contact with the ground and it just hinges off here. It's got 2 safety latches in it. It's nice and light. We had a KMR on it. It was so heavy. It was really, really thick. I mean, they're great bars, but it was really heavy. And with my back, I just couldn't fit it to, you know, take it off and service the vehicle. So we came up with this one. And we needed this drop down and the outboard holder. Just the idea of full custom was sort of bought, and that's what we went with.
So is that when you go for a river crossing, you hook this up?
Yeah, it's a rear engine Troopy, mate. She's got 15 horsepower.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's for the boat on the roof. So these flick out each side. A little fire extinguisher tucked in there. When the outboard isn't on too, we take it off, and I've got one of the grab me gear bin bags that bolts on the back here. So I've got a couple of photos of that I can show you. And then we've got another bag on here that has our grabbers and sacks and everything we use to do the job we do, carry out the work. These are just where the tow ball goes on. We actually snapped this off coming back from WA a couple of weeks ago, like clean snapped it here.
You snapped the...
We snapped the tow ball tongue right there.
Wow.
Transcontinental. We were pretty loaded up. We had hundreds of kilos worth of rubbish in the trailer and a fair bit on the draw, but we snapped it straight here. I've never seen it happen before on any other car.
Ball weight?
I think too much ball weight, and just the roads, you know. We did Gibraltar Road, did a data track, Tanami, Transcontinental, all in.
I've never heard one of these snapping before.
Nah, never. So
I've bent one, but not snapped.
Nah, clean snap. I'll show you, we'll put the photo up. Snapped it clean off. All right, suspension with Kimmy.
What are we running, Bo?
So in the Troopy, we've got a 45 millimeter lift. It's leaf spring front and rear, being a 75 series. In the back, we've got the 800 kilo constant load spring, so a massive spring pack. And it handles the weight really well. So you know how it drives. What do you think it drives like?
It drives really well when it's fully loaded with the trailer. Yeah. When we're driving around town, it's a bit, without the trailer, she's a bit...
It's bumpy.
Bumpy, very bumpy.
It's quite bumpy. So they run a nitro charger shock. We've got the shock match to the springs in this, and we run the Old Man Emu steering stabilizer at the front. And that's great. It really holds it on the road. You know, if you get a crosswind or something, it sort of holds that front section on. What do you feel like the solid front axle with leaf springs like when you hit a pot?
When we hit a pothole?
Yeah, when you hit a pothole.
Oh, barely feel it.
You don't
barely feel it.
No. But if you hit it in the left, you'll notice it upset the right heaps, being solid front axle. So you're like, ooh. But that's the lift and tyres in the car. It's basic. It's got grease all over it currently because it's all greasable shackles. We pump it in, I'd say once a month we're under there pumping it in. Kimmy just did this one yesterday, so. Gave
her a big old oil.
Yeah, we use marine grease in there too because the car's often going along, so we use all marine grease in there just for everything. Wheels and tyres. I have a ROH 16x8 -22 steel rim. Great wheel. You know, we love steel in the bush because we can bash them back. We've only ever bent one seriously that we needed to repair, but we were able to repair it and get home. Then we're running a 285/75 R16 mud terrain tyre. These are a Toyo Open Country. We've had them on for 40,000 Ks. Really good tread. You know, like all muddies, they perform pretty well off-road. Well, great off-road, but on-road particularly, that's why we love these tyres because they really, you know, high-speed cornering with the trailer on it, 90 Ks an hour, and the front end just pulls around. It's really nice. They're not too noisy either for a mud tyre. There is some noise if you go across a barricade or something, you know, on the highway, but other than that, they're pretty bloody good. I'm very happy with them. Under the bonnet.
All right, so here we have a 1HZ with 486 Ks on it, and Bo, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, she's non-turbo, guys. We got it with 250,000 Ks about 4 years ago. So we do a lot of Ks every year, and that's why I haven't changed too much under here because we're doing remote travel with a trailer. We don't travel in convoy, so if anything breaks, like, we're stuck there. Keep it all reliable, genuine Toyota brass radiator. We get that replaced I've had it replaced twice in the car just to keep it updated because the first one got stuck full of grass seeds and that kind of thing. I bought brass so that you could burn it out if you needed to over alloy, but I haven't needed to do that yet. We've got a set of pacemaker extractors on here just to get the flow out the engine, and I've also put a factory turbo, the 1HDT snorkel, which is a little bit wider. It's about 20 mil wider. So to sort of get the air into the engine and then try and get it out a bit. And then we've got a side pipe on it, so it's nice and short. That snorkel, it is dust-proof, seal-proof. They're not from factory, but I've just hoped for the best and silicone the rest with it. And it's been pretty good. We've had water up over the bonnet half a dozen times and never a problem. Running around into the batteries here, I've got 2 batteries sitting on an ARB dual battery tray, just with a custom heat shield to try and keep the heat off the engine a bit. And then I've cut a vent in the side here that came on the older Cruisers used to have it with the exhaust out this side, but the HZJs with the 1HZ don't have it. So I've cut that in to sort of get the air in through the batteries and then out the car. This one's just a cranking battery, Century. The back one's a AGM Century cranking, and that just runs pretty well the red arc gear in the back. We've got a 1500 watt inverter and a BCDC that controls all this, and a subwoofer. So pretty simple under the bonnet. Just keep it simple, stupid. It doesn't have any blow-by. Runs as good as the day it came out the factory, effectively. Yeah, she's great. Hop in it, turn the key. She fires up every time.
Yeah, this is Rubber Ducky. You got a copy there?
Come in, Rubber Ducky. This is Flaming Peacock.
Flaming Peacock. Interesting name. Tell us about your comms, mate.
All right, so we're sitting in the front of the Troopy here. We're a little bit different because we're the RV, so we have, you know, a bit of nicer interior. As far as a UHF, we run a reprogram TX440 and it's reprogrammed to a 60 channel. And then we run a 80 channel 5 watt and then a 40 channel CB for the stations. On the front, we've got the big GME antenna. It's the same height as the roof. That's why I went with that one. It's a 6.6 dB, which, you know, it works pretty well for everything we do. We don't travel in convoy, but it always works. And then up the top, we've got another big GME aerial on a fold down GME bracket. And that's the Selfie booster aerial. So that sits at the same height as the boat, sort of on an angle.
What about your lights? Tell us about your front spotties. Is it enough? Because you don't have any light bars or anything, do you?
Nah, so I will be fitting a light bar up to the roof rack, but we haven't needed it yet. That's sort of just overkill. I'm currently running the IPF Extreme Sport HIDs. I've been running them for 8 years and I love them. They're just awesome. They go really far distance down the road. So when you're really heavy, you know, you want that distance to be able to pull up, not quickly, you know, you slow yourself down through the gears for a cow or something on the highway. So yeah, I froth them, love them.
Very nice. So how often do you find camp in darkness, mate?
Oh, all night. Kimmy and I, we definitely prefer driving at highway. Less people on the road, a lot cooler for the car being an old diesel towing, a lot cheaper on fuel, and easier on your eyes. So yeah, no, we're always driving in dark. So the lights get a big workout. They're used a couple times a week, easy.
Very nice, mate. Thank you very much. This is Rubber Ducky out.
Over and out.
Do you want to talk us through what you actually use the interior for here?
Yeah, it's a bit different to most setups. So I built this when I first got the car. So my needs have sort of changed, and so I've developed the drawer system around that to work with my needs. So we've got a fridge box here, and this can also come out and put a drop-in panel in another drawer. So if I want 2 drawers at the back of the car, or if I want 1 drawer and a fridge. So it's kind of versatile for that. So, you know, if Kimmy and I want to take a campaign, we'll take the weekend away, take the car away for the weekend, we can throw a double mattress in here and, you know, shut it all up and be really secure.
So instead of bringing a whole trailer,
yeah, exactly. If we just want to do that and ditch the boat, so all the rubbish can go on the roof and we can just sleep in the car. So, you know, just for a quick weekender, but we don't often do that much. But it's nice to have the option. It can also fit, I built through this setup when I was doing my chippy apprenticeship, so I can fit an 820 door in here as well. So that sort of, it was all measured around work and play. Everything's recessed. I wanted the weight to be really low because obviously there's a fair bit of weight in the drawer system, so I wanted that to be as low as possible and still have headroom, you know. So if it's a really windy, rainy day, Kimmy and I can jump in here and, you know, play some cards or put our laptop up here and work a bit for the day, kind of thing, you know, throw a cushion here. So it's practical. So we're trying to make stuff as practical as possible. Otherwise we're stuck in a tent and that's not always fun with.
Is that why you got really dark tint? Is that so you can...
Yeah, exactly. So we've got...
Does it get too hot in here then?
Yeah, South Coast Window Tinting did all the tint on the car, and we've got 15 on the back with the shade cloth to stop the windows from getting scratched as well.
Sure.
As well as the curtains, and then 5 on the sides, 30 on the front, darkest legal on the front. So we've got some DIY cell screens here, which keep it cool. So these are just air cell that offer jobs. So I've they're like double insulated.
What's underneath here?
So these are all recessed panels. So the one that I'm sitting on is the big back drawer, and then this recessed panel is all things Toyota and that you need for remote travel. So we've got a big, really good socket set, absolutely love it. We've got hoses, spare radiator cap, belts, clamps, everything like that. You need top and bottom radiator hoses. In here I have spare studs, wheel nuts. Oh, sorry, that's got the belts in it, spare studs, wheel nuts and belts. We have done studs a few times on the road. But you know, it's always good.
You just spare parts and
pretty much
spare winch rope as well, see?
Yeah, I've got another 70 metres of winch rope. Just because, like I said before, we like doing double line pulls. Prepared. So obviously you want as much winch rope as possible. We've also got another one of these bags in the shed at home that we take on campaign too. And then the nicest recovery kit I've ever had. This is all Jimmy's gear, or Grammy gear stuff. And this is a Sabre off-road recovery kit. You've seen these things, like that's got everything we need, you know, kinetic energy rope, straps, bridles, heaps of soft shackles, heaps and heaps of soft shackles. Some of these lovely, absolutely delicious
the rings, yeah.
Winch rings, yeah. So I've used these a couple of times, absolutely loving them.
Way better than a snatch box.
Yeah, a lot safer, a lot lighter. Just by switching this, because we were carrying 2 snatch blocks and all our big bow shackles instead of the soft shackles, we saved about 7 kilos switching to this recovery kit. Yeah. From the Sabre.
And they're actually more, they can do more weight as well, like the
they're 17 tonne or something. They're absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And so, like 7 kilos isn't much of the whole weight of the vehicle, but to run up a sand dune to pull yourself out, 7 kilos adds up.
Little nook and crannies everywhere here.
Yeah, jumper cables and a couple of big 2.5 tonne ratchet straps. They side by side will actually work as a winch to move your car about 100 mil.
Okay.
That's not a lot, but that can generally drag you onto a set of max tracks if your winch fails. Sure. So I've done that twice with the car, has pulled it out with ratchet straps. And in here, Kimmy and I just have like dryser bones. I've got some spare bearings to the front end. One of the 8247 tool rolls, that's got fixings in it. That's my electrical kit. It's got crimpers, a couple of soldering irons, multimeter.
Is there a water tank under that bit?
Yeah, so 65 litre water tank, baffled both directions in this, with a breather and filler cap here. So the idea of that was I can access it from the driver's seat. So as I'm driving, I can actually just pick my tap up and have a drink.
Yeah. It's actually a good temperature in here.
It's really cool in here. So the whole thing's air sealed as well on the inside of the panels. So the whole car's not insulated. It's the same sort of air seal like this.
Yeah.
Because insulating, for those who have done it in the Troopy, knows that it goes mouldy. Genuine Toyota cargo barrier that I've cut the guts out of, so you can access. Just so, because the problem with Troopies, if you put a cargo barrier on them, and you have a rear bar, someone can come up with 2 padlocks and lock you in your car, and you can't get out. So cut the cargo barrier out, so if someone does that, I can at least get out the front. That's a Red Arc BCDC 1240D. So yeah, 40 amp charger, absolutely smashes in. Red arc pure sine wave inverter. I had to get the 1500 watt because of my Makita batteries.
Okay.
So every other drill brand will work fine in a 700 watt, but Makita randomly spikes to like 1400 watt. It's charging, so you have to run a 1500 watt
Good to know.
charger with it. Yeah, Makita. Just a 80 channel 5 watt handheld in case, I don't know, Kimmy's doing a walk or something, and we don't have reception, because we travel solo as a couple. I need to, if she gets bit by a snake or something like that.
Yeah.
This is, so if we're going off into the bush, we just leave the car radio on, and one of us near the car and the other one takes that just to keep in communication. A couple of the eBay hat holders, absolutely awesome.
I like your handles.
Oh, they're great.
Very antique.
Oh, mate, these are off my great grandmother's piano. So.
No way.
Yeah, no, nice.
So your grandma helped you design the wheel.
Different side of the family.
Oh.
But yeah, so
Okay.
it's family values through the whole car.
Yeah.
Run through. I've also got great grandpa's coffee grinder, survived
Nice.
World War II, so they can stay together.
What's this drawer attached to?
So this drawer runs on nylon slides, which are full DIY, like budget, awesome tip. I'll show you, let's get it out. So the whole thing pulls out. We'll just chuck it down here. Not that you ever need to do it, but it's on these nylon slides, which are actually just tongue and groove flooring. So they just construct the floor, and I've put them in countersunk the screws so the screws don't scratch.
That's a bloody great idea.
Well, it's really cheap, and you don't get that horrible sand noise, because we're on the beach, we're camping all the time, and the car's set up, so it's all getting wind blown, sand blown. And if you leave like these out, you get sand in all here, and God, they make a bad noise after 12 months. They make an awful noise. So
And then the ball bearings rust. And...
Exactly. That's been in there 5 years. I've never had an issue with it. And this is the food drawer kind of thing. We run this, we also live half out of the trailer as well. So depending on campaign, if we have 2 drawers of the fridge, back section sort of food, just tin long life, maple syrup, a few pancakes.
He's a sweet tooth.
Oh, bloody hell. Bit of condensed milk in there if you want. Antique Jaffa line. So you got to have your Jaffa line when you go bush. Brown ones do taste better. It's just a fact.
Never tried a round one.
Oh mate, tonight's the night. More of Jimmy's gears, just spices.
Hang on a sec. I'm going to stop you here.
Be right.
Go back.
Yeah.
No, like that. So you flip it over. So you still got a table.
Yeah, I never even actually thought of that because it's usually.
Okay, so it wasn't the intention.
No, it wasn't. This came
Well, it
off the side of the road. This is off a Kimberley camper trailer. It just happened to fit.
Yeah, right.
I was like sitting in the back and Kimberley's like, I reckon I know where that would fit. So in the back here, we've got just a basic drop down. Had to be nice and thin, and it's just got a cutout for the speaker. That cable comes off so you can still get the fridge open. And if you want to put a bit more weight on, just put the table up. That's pretty good for there. Just down the side here, we run a bunch more Jimmy's Grab Me Gear bags. That's got extension cords, lights, just everything we can run off the inverter if we need a bit more lighting around camp, or need to run some power tools. Then in this side, just got your basic air compressor hose, a little hatchet, really good old Dr. air compressor, and I carry 2 bottle jacks, a hydraulic one and a mechanical one, and that's got the car at everything. I don't need a high lift, never have, probably never will.
Well, we're in the interior now.
Absolutely, nice and brown. Brown,
Yeah.
brown, and a bit more brown.
This is fiberglass, yeah?
Yeah, fiberglass roof console.
And you've added that.
Yep. Yeah, so that's I think it might even be out of a 40 series because it sort of slides a little bit from side to side. But that's got a heap of stuff up there. Missile switches for all the lights around the canopy, so front, right, front, rear. Bit of a pump in the back for the water tank if we need it. It's not plumbed in because I prefer gravity. I don't want to have electricity to get to my water. But if I do need a pump, it's there.
Okay.
Running into it, we've pretty well just got good stereo system, runs through Kedwin unit. What do you reckon, Kimberley? What do you got going on your side?
We've got One Stone armrests. Adrian from One Stone kindly gave us some, and also nice coffee mugs.
Yeah,
Sure,
they
that
would.
fit perfectly in there.
And how good are these things on long drives?
Oh, they are so good. They're just
If we're punching out 16, 17 hours in a car, yeah, Kimmy just sits there and sleeps. I don't know how she does it. But anyway, works for me. So then in the front, we've just got 2 phone holders. These are eBay specials. They're about 17 bucks. They're really good because they're metal and you can wind them on, so they're corrugation proof. So you can do the roughest corrugations and still have your phone on there. Then we've just got some cup holders down here. These came out of a van. When I first bought the car, it didn't have cup holders. I was like, you need cup holders. So this fits 2 cans of Coke and 2 iced coffees in the middle, but if you change to third, you crush the coffee. That is the downside. Running in here, what do we got? We've got curtains in the back, head torches.
This for? Oh,
That's the curtains.
curtain.
Yeah, it's the front curtain. Little knife. There's a lovely Kirkman knife from the guys down in Tassie. You're into knives, you like that one. Just some interior lighting up here somewhere. There's one of these switches, that one. Does some interior lighting, and then the roof racks. Hypersonic rear view mirror, big one, which is good. You can see everything in the back of the car. So, you know, if you've got something bouncing around, you can see absolutely everything in the back of the car. So I like the big mirror for that. And we've got some lovely Superfits. I can't fail to mention that. Boomy the Troopy, custom embroidered. Awesome guys at Superfit hooked us up.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like them. Oh, they're absolutely beautiful, you know. We could make a mess of these things. So.
Right. How do you find a bench seat?
Let's not go there.
All right, guys, since you've seen us in South Australia, we're now over in Perth. We've done the full drive shows. Since then, we fitted a set of Stratos seats. These were donated to us by Ronny out of his cruiser, so cheers, mate. We'll get some brown Superfit seat covers on these soon. We did miss then, but we've got the clear view mirrors on here just for towing the big trailer.
Behind Boomy, there is a trailer. And I'm going to hand you over to Bo right now, and he can kick you through the whole thing.
G'day, and this is the one of our trailers, the Project Camper trailer. I built this thing when I was 17, years and years ago. I'm just going to show you around it real quick, so pay attention because it's going to be quick. To begin with, we're on the left side here. This is what Kimmy and I live out of, really basics, just scrap ply. We made it super cheap. We rolled the trailer a year ago, so this was all just made out of parts. We just have a 40 litre Engel, 100 amp hour battery, 250 watt panel, Weber Q, drawers, a couple of suitcases, super simple. And on the other side here, guys, we have our work side. So we have 3 270 litre wheelie bins that we fill up almost every day. And then this big 200 litre tub at the back. So when the bins are empty, the trailer does get lopsided. So to counteract that, we have 4 jerry cans down the centre, plus 2 on each side and 1 in the middle. So that gives us 7 extra 20 litre jerry cans worth of fuel. And we have 2 waters on the drawbar that go with that. Those lines, bins are full, got a whirly gear, got a scrap metal, got a drum, got tyres, got a water tank. Humans throw away some weird shit. And here, guys, we have the 2 jerry cans I mentioned earlier, plus a couple of spare tyres, a basic stone guard, the grab me gear bin bag, thing's awesome, a couple of recovery tracks up the top, and a solar panel.
We're now doing Bo with pillow talk.
And finally, guys, up here we have the Meter High Club. It's pretty good. Kimmy and I jump up here, plenty of room to sleep. Gets us out the sun, snakes, crocodiles, all the rest. That's the trailer. Cheers.
2,700 kilometres later,
Yeah, like
here we are
straight across.
in Perth. In the studio. Do you like the studio? It's the first time you've been in the
nice,
studio?
man. It's one of the best campsites I've ever been to. You know, it's got electricity and running water and a
Oh,
toilet.
you're staying here, are you?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, I didn't know
Depends
that.
how many beers are in the fridge by the end of it. So.
Mate, there's enough beer here for you to stay for quite a while.
I'll take you up to that.
Q&A.
Q&A, let's get into it.
I'm going to hit you up straight away and say, why Boomy? Why a 75 series?
Basically, just simplicity, strength and simplicity. So with the Troopy, I picked a 1993 HZJ75 after a couple of years of looking. Wanted the welded chassis, leaf springs front and rear for just indestructible, super duper strong, not the most comfy, and I wanted a wagon body. You know, less dust in, a bit stronger on the chassis. I knew I was going to load the car up. I wanted to be able to sleep in it, and I also, when I first got the vehicle, I was still doing a carpentry apprenticeship. So I wanted to be able to fit my tools in there and be able to put a whole door in the back and not have to strap it on the roof and that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So usability. So that's why I picked the Troopy, a lot of space and easy to get parts, you know,
Yeah.
remote travel,
That makes
really
sense.
easy to get parts. You snap a leaf spring, you can get a tree and put it in there and still get yourself home. Like, I haven't ever had to do it yet, but
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
No, me neither.
Because you did break quite a few things.
Yeah, I
Well,
busted up a
one
few things on
thing
the side.
on the way over, and then Train Time East still hooked you up with
Yep.
a lot of new stuff in his front end.
Yeah, yep. The car's driving
You
nice
did?
now, so, and starter motor and a couple other little bits and pieces,
Yeah.
so new bearings all around, but yeah.
Supporting the Outback cleanups. That's
Yeah,
good.
100%. Outback Cleanups is an Aussie registered charity, so you know it's only good for corporates to help out, and all together we can make the country a cleaner place and keep the tracks open. So
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Perfectly. Keeping the tracks open. That's what we all want.
pretty much.
We'll get to that a bit more towards the end. I'll let you tell the audience exactly what it is Outback Cleanups is all about.
Yeah.
But before that, while we just spoke about your Troopy, I've got a tough question for you.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, say you couldn't have the Troopy anymore. It's 2022.
Yeah.
From now and back in time, what car would it be to replace the Troopy?
Money aside or my money?
Money aside.
Money aside, I'd go like a Isuzu dual cab truck, like a MPS 550 or something. If that was money aside, because I could get a crane on the back, I could load up car bodies, I could have air conditioning, I could take volunteers out. That's what I would go for.
Big scale.
Big scale, yeah. Be able to, you know, up because that's our biggest problem with Ocker is we run out of room with the rubbish, and then we got to transport it hundreds of k's back before we can go back out.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough. That's what I would go for. Something small that would make, you know, my heart flutter and give me a buzz. I'd go like a 1978 Suzuki U. So that's.
I could see you.
I had one. And I want another one. If you have one out there, let me know. I need one to save the world.
What's your next mod, Bo?
Next modification. Probably.
Are there any big changes coming up to the Troopy?
Oh, not so much. We got the seats, thanks to you. So
no worries,
that
mate.
was a massive change for us, getting out of the old factory Land Cruiser seats and into something a bit comfier. Big mods, engine swap. It's so low on power at the moment. We had it dynoed last year and it only made 56 horsepower with an injector pump rebuild and 6 new injectors. That was over 12 months ago, so I reckon it'd be making 45 at the moment. So just for the weight we're pulling and where we're going, I definitely need to get some more horses under the bonnet. So that'd probably be the next big mod.
What motor would you put in?
Probably if I could find it, the 24 valve 1HDT, the 80 series engine. I'd probably go that more than the FTE. I know FTE is a lot, you know, it's the cream of the crop, but I just like the mechanical injection and all that kind of thing. Keep it simple. So yeah, but it'd be one of the 1HDT series engines, any of the three, the 12 valve, the 24 or the FTE. So that's what I'd be going. Keep it all Toyota, you know what I mean? Then it's all generic parts. You can walk in and it's still pretty
available
easy.
everywhere.
It's available everywhere, exactly.
So what would you say is the biggest drawback with those 75 series Troop carrier? Worst thing about it?
Probably it's speed while towing, to be honest. Like that's because you got to think about everything. You know, there's an overtake, you can't just pull out and put your foot down. You got to time everything. So you're thinking 5, 6, 7 cars ahead everywhere you drive. That's probably my biggest drawback. Other than that, I've got good suspension in it. I would say of their factory, the suspension's pretty rubbish, but with the old man Emu gear that's in it, it's quite comfortable for the car it is. And size, like no underground parking. There's no, you know, round Perth and that kind of thing.
Most four drivers can relate to that one.
But yeah, exactly. I'm sure we can all relate to that. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say it's lack of power when towing. Without it's fine, but yeah, with the trailer on the back, they really
Hence
struggle.
the engine swap.
Hence the
dream.
engine swap. Yeah.
What about the best thing about a 75 series Troopy?
Simplicity. Parts everywhere. The characteristics. Everyone, you know, their granddad had one or they had one when they were younger, or most people still have them. You know, they come up the full drive show and can chat, and there's a real community behind the Troopy. You know, you drive past everyone on the road and everyone's like, you! So, there's a sense of community behind it, and that's why I love it. And being so versatile, you know, and they're a bit forgiving, you know, once you've got good bar work all around, you can sort of relax a bit and go off-road and you know that you don't have to scratch it up. They're just thick panels, they're a bit of a truck of a thing, really, so that's why I love it. Probably couldn't go to anything too modern. I like how, you know, if you want to take your seatbelt off-road only, and sort of look out the window or something, doesn't bong and beep and carry on, you know what I mean? It's just sort of cruise through. It's a very usable, it's like a tractor, so that's why I like the car, really.
Do you want to tell our audience now about Outback Cleanups? What's it all about?
So for those who don't know, Outback Cleanups is Australia's first registered remote cleanup charity. We go right around the bush doing beach, bush and marine cleanups. We kind of focus on the less travelled roads if we can so much. We do a lot of Outback highway Ks as well, so you know, Tanami Desert, Unadata Track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 bags. We're doing a Simpson Desert cleanup about mid-2022. Lot going on, but yeah, we sort of focus on that stuff. And the reason I started the charity is because I saw a massive problem with pollution on, you know, beach, bush, marine areas around the country, and there was no one that focused on that remote stuff. You know, there's plenty of social events where people get together and do like cleanups on metropolitan areas and, you know, beaches like Scarborough and that kind of thing. But yeah, there was nothing of a dedicated group that just went out and focused on these remote areas and actually pulled the rubbish out.
Works, yeah.
We're completely independent, so no government funding. Means we can be very flexible with our campaigns of which state and territory we want to go. As a downside means we don't have a massive budget to back us. So a self-funded charity, we fund it all through the sales of our t-shirt, our own finances and whatever donations come in. So yeah, but since then we've moved, we just cleared it 2 days ago, 63 tonne total since January 2019. So fair bit of rubbish one piece at a time. So
That is a phenomenal amount of rubbish.
it's a lot when you think about how much a chub stick weighs or a cigarette butt. So.
You guys just jumped on Patreon too.
We just jumped on Patreon, yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. Started 2 days ago, so that's Outback Cleanups. If you search it, yeah, it will come up, and You can subscribe. I think it's from $3 a month, so all helps us out. Goes towards the diesel and the dumping, and you get a bit of exclusive content as well. That's only available on that platform. So yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to put a link to that Patreon page down below, because that's where your $3 will actually make you feel better, and will actually go to something that's going to make everything better. We're all full drivers. Let's get on board, guys.
Yeah.
And lastly, I'd like to thank our sponsor for Modified, the Terrain Tamer e-store. Also supporting the Outback cleanup, Troopy, the Boomy.
Yeah, Boomy the Troopy. So yeah, getting that back on the road. So thank you guys at Terrain Tamer and everyone else who supports that company and buys good quality Australian made gear. And yeah, I appreciate that.
Cool. Thanks for bringing the vehicle.
Having a good one.
Well, it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, she's just out there. I mean, it's just under us right now.
And thanks for taking us to the camp, by the way.
Yeah, no, that was
a nice camp.
It was a good camp. We'll
you
do it
found
again.
like 7 10 pegs.
11, I reckon.
Mid-conversation. Maybe
yeah.
like, what's he doing?
I'd love to take a metal detector, actually. We're getting more. We can open up a camping shop we find anymore. So
we're fading out slowly here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Fantastic.